Well, it's 2 p.m, so welcome. I'll put some notifications on social media so we get some people in here. Let me just check a couple of things. Just checking the sound. Just checking the sound. Just checking the sound. Just checking the sound. Let me see if everything is working. Some viewers are getting in here. That's great, Steven. Just testing things out at the moment, so. First live stream on this channel. Thanks for some of you to show up. Hopefully we'll get some people in here now that we don't stream from the main channel, but we will see. I'm not quite sure if the audio is synced with the visuals. There's quite some delay on my screen, but maybe that's only on my end. So for those who watch this from the start, this is the first live stream on this new channel. We will talk about birds. If you have any questions during this Q&A, you can ask them and I will try to answer them. Or maybe just want to talk about birds, that's fine as well. First of all, for those who didn't know this already, but my English is not my native language, so I will try my best, but excuse me if I'm not totally correct. And we will have to wait for some people to get into. But if you have a question, just you can put them in the chat for now. Or you can just watch the birds, of course. So if you would like to see more of these sessions, just let me know and press that like button. I will do these live sessions and just talk about birds now and then to come up with some great questions for you guys, answer your questions, tell me a little bit about the plans we have. And we have a question from AV. And that's how many Gouldian Finches do you have at the moment? Well, we have 5 in here. And we have one which is a little bit sick. So she is put in quarantine. So in total we have 6 Gouldian Finches, 3 white-breasted finches and 3 purple-breasted finches. And hopefully we can breed with them in the future. I had some nest boxes inside there, but we had a little bit of a mite or lice outbreak. And the birds were really itchy, so we really wanted to prevent that, so we removed the nest boxes and continued cleaning the cage really good and sprayed the birds with lice and mite spray. it seems that they are doing a lot better now already. So that's great. You can see all 5 of them now sitting in the back. Maybe I will go feed them for a minute and hopefully they will come closer so you can see them quite good. I will be back in 5 minutes. So hopefully they will now come a little bit closer. I mostly feed them during the morning. But to get them a little bit closer, I just give them a little treat, some soft egg food. So I will talk a little bit about the plans for this year. As you could see in some of the videos already, I've got some great plans. I'm first of all looking for a new property, which is difficult, but I think we have some luck and we can move to a new property this year at which we have some more space, both indoors and outdoors, so there will be some new aviaries. I think there will hopefully there will be multiple aviaries, but we have to see. Some new indoor areas, breeding rooms, so a lot of good stuff. New birds, so if you have any suggestions, please let me know. For the rest, of course we want to breed with the birds, which maybe is a little bit difficult, but if the plants will continue, we will have to move during the breeding season, and that can mess up the breeding seasons really badly. And we have a new question from Arpan Rana. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly. Hey, button quill eggs. How many days they got expired? Any ideas? So the question is how many days you could keep button quill eggs. That's a difficult one. It also depends on the temperature outside. But mostly I remove, if the quills is not breeding, is not incubating them, I remove them after a week. Especially if they don't lay more eggs and just stop laying, I remove the eggs completely, just to be sure. Sometimes I left them in the aviary and after a couple of weeks I cleaned the aviary and there were just some small exploding bombs. so that's not very good, and it stings really badly, so you should really clean them after 7-8 days, like that. If the bird is incubating them, then that will take 3 weeks, so you can let them lay around. So for the other plants, yeah, what I said, a new bird room, some new aviaries. I'm already looking for some new plants for a bigger aviary, some new birds, but we have to see. I will try to capture everything, the whole process, so stay tuned for that. That will be posted on my main channel. And if you have any suggestions, just please let me know. Always open for suggestions for new birds, maybe some plants for the aviary, etc. The rest of the plants this year, as I have now 4 pairs, which I want to breed with, 5 pairs. I think I will change out the society finch pair. The female is laying eggs without a shell, so I'll try to find a new pair, or definitely a new female. And also the star finches, I want to switch out for a new species or a new pair, because they are a little bit older now and also are not doing really great. The last 2 years I didn't have any nests, so maybe hopefully with the new pair. We got a new questions again. When will you upload a video again? That will be this Saturday. This video will be about quills again. So if you are interested, like your question before this one, stay tuned. So every other week on Saturday I will post a video on my main channel. And this second channel will mostly be short videos, live streams, Q&As, all the other stuff. And the main videos will be on the main channel. So stay tuned. I've got a lot of new videos planned. Also some new aviaries from other YouTubers or other breeders I want to show you. So I hope that will be some really fun videos. I'm looking down a little bit to see if there's any questions. So if you see me looking down a lot, you know that it's because my computer is a little lower. And sometimes I look that way because my setup and my live stream is orientated. I also just recently made a new video which I really want to show you guys about making a new aviary. Well, it's not really making a new aviary. We pimped up an older one, put some new interior design in there, and the birds really loved the new interior. So that's also coming. So for this year I will start conditioning the birds around next week. I think I will start conditioning the birds. For the Golden Finches you see over here, it's really difficult because they were already starting to laying eggs even without nest boxes. But some of them are also molting. So they're a little bit off sync, which is difficult because there are different types of Golden Finches. You have summer breeds, winter breeds. And you have to make sure slowly they will come into sync. But we will see also with if we are going to move to a new property, this will have some effects, but maybe we already have some eggs and some chicks before we do that. So I will start with that next week. Just starting with giving them soft food, a little bit more vegetables, and a little bit more variety in seeds, just to mimic nature. We also will prolong the light hours, just to let them know it's breeding season. This doesn't have to be that much, but you also have to have more than 12 hours of light. But from where they come from Australia, the light difference between winter and summer is not that big. It's mostly the rainy season which is a cue for the birds to start breeding. So we will try to give them more water, moisturize it, and get the humidity up to trick the birds that the raining season will be soon started. Slowly more people are coming in, so welcome. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat and I will answer them. I will be here for around, I think, until 3 p.m. I think. The male you see here with the purple breasted male is my oldest male. We already have him for, I think, 2 years. The purple breasted female, which was his partner, unfortunately died after I moved her to this new aviary. So all the other birds are new. I bought them like, I think 3 to 4 months ago. So that they are already started laying eggs was very surprising for me. Mostly they need a little bit of acclimation into the new area. They seem to do pretty well, but as I mentioned at the start of this video, they got a little bit itchy. So I did some treatments, cleaned the cage very roughly a couple of times, removed the nest boxes, and hopefully that will help. And the itchiness is already starting to get a lot less, so it seems like it's working. Hopefully everything still works. I haven't seen any complaints that the audio is out of sync, so other plans I have for maybe the near future. I want to experiment a little bit more with new species. Not sure which ones yet. And now that if I have a bigger property and everything goes well, we can definitely do that. And see how other species are doing. I really want to involve you guys into that, so stay tuned and watch my community post where I ask you questions in polls or just open questions. If you have any video ideas I can use, also please let me know. If it's a big question, then I can answer them maybe in a whole completely video, otherwise maybe in a Q&A live stream. I see a question of Steven. Hey, I have a question. Do you still have Gordon Bleus? I haven't seen them in a while. Well, that's correct. During the summer, when there was an outbreak of a virus in my aviary, where I lost a lot of birds, and also the 2 Cordon Bleus. Since then, I'm really looking for new ones, a new pair, but haven't found one which I was sure it was healthy and it was a pair which wasn't from the same parents. I've seen some of them at the pet stores or breeders, but not really sure if they were from different parents, and then I won't buy them. Sometimes I will buy one of them, but most pet stores and breeders won't sell loose birds, especially not the females. So if I buy only a male, then I have to find a female, which is difficult because, like I mentioned, most breeders only sell pairs and not individual birds. It's a shame because it was one of my favorite birds and I will still want to breed them. So we'll have to see if in the next coming months we will find a new pair. And hopefully we can start over this year. Yes, that's true. They are pretty expensive. So it was a shame that they died before they could make a nest. But there are not a lot of breeders who breed these in large numbers. But that's not only here in the Netherlands, but everywhere around the world. Only in Africa there are some breeders which have a lot of them, but that's a little bit too far for me. So that's also why I want to expand a little. We had a lot of casualties last year. We didn't have a very good breeding season due to the virus outbreak. And I want to switch up some of the couples, some of the pairs, to hopefully get a better one this year or prepare for next year. If I buy a lot of new pairs this year, there's a good chance that I won't have any chicks this year from that pair because they are all relatively young, or have to get used to the new environment. I really do love the African finches, but yeah, they are a lot more difficult than the Australian finches. Especially the orange cheeks waxbill are really small and really fragile, but that's also a species I really love. But for now I want to focus on a little bit more easier birds, get them to settle, especially if we are planning to move. I really don't want to buy a lot of expensive birds which I have to move with me. So maybe if we are at the new property, have everything set up, have a new working system which works really good, then I will switch over again to African finches. So for the other plans is, like I mentioned, I think this year is more preparing for next year than really hoping for a good breeding season this year. we had a really good winter. Most of the time you lose 1 or 2 birds, but this time, except the ill and getting bold Gouldian Finch we have, everything is doing great. Didn't have much time to look into new birds. Corona is still here, new lockdowns, so that makes it also really hard for me to find new finches and new pairs. Next to that, I've talked to a lot of other breeders here in the Netherlands which had difficulties this year. Don't know why exactly, but just like me, they have really bad years. Not much new birds. So that also makes it harder for me to get new birds. So all the connections I have don't really have birds available at the moment. Let's have a look. I also really want to do some more scientific videos, talking a little bit more about the research which is done on our birds. Don't know if you guys like that, but if you do, please comment below. I really love to read some literature about the birds. There's a lot done on golden finches, zebra finches, so it's always nice to learn about them, their behavior in the wild, and just to see how we can mimic our aviary in the same way and hopefully see the same behavior. The question from Steven: do you also go to exhibitions with the birds you breed? Well, I've been there once. That was like, I think 7 years ago. But I don't, because most of my last breeding season didn't go very well. I don't want to disturb them a lot, so I don't ring my birds, only with open rings. For some exhibitions this is not allowed, so I can't compete, and otherwise I don't really breed for a beautiful color. I just breed for fun. So no, not really. I've been there a lot with friends of mine who does breed really up to color. So I really like to go there and watch them, but I don't really compete myself in these exhibitions. But maybe if everything goes well and I've got some good breeding seasons, then I will give it a try. And I'm really planning on going to some I don't know, Wim van Bemmel, if I've seen your advertisements. I don't recognize your name by heart, but maybe I've seen some of them. But yeah, if you have something cool available, you can DM me on Instagram. Oh, you have seen mine. Oh yeah, now I read. Oh, that could be. I sell some of my birds. Yeah, that could be. I used the pictures. I saved two clutches of quills from the pet's place this year, which I fixed up, give them proper food, let them grow back their feathers, and I sell them again. And I also sell some button quills from friends of mine who didn't really had the time to sell them. Also sometimes have sell my birds to fans who didn't know I was the one selling them, but it was a surprise for them. So you bump into fans sometimes, and I really want to see more community. I really miss it during Corona, going to exhibitions and that kind of stuff. Just sharing our knowledge. I just share my knowledge through the internet and get tips from you, but it's always lovely to see new other breeders, how they do it. So that's also why I started up the new section where I show you aviaries are all around the birds. No, sorry, Wim. I do not have Gouldians available. I'm also still looking for some. I have a little too much white-breasted. I prefer not to breed white-breasted with white-breasted. And now I have 3 white-breasted, but yes, Friesland's a little far away from me. But if you look at America or other countries, it's still very close. But for the Netherlands, that's a little far away. But I still come closely to Friesland sometimes. Some of my family lives there, so in Overijssel. No, I'm also really looking for some new golds to add. I really want the females to choose their males, and now that's not possible at the moment. Now there are more males than females in there, so I really want more females than males. Let them choose their males. Let the females choose their males. Watch how they pair up, and sell the rest. But for now, I have one pair, the purple-breasted, which is here at the front. Is really showing off to one of the female white-breasted. To the white-breasted female. So hopefully that will stay a pair. And then when I put in the nest boxes again, they will start laying eggs and building a nest very quickly. I just watch them if they are close to each other a lot, if they sleep next to each other, which is very useful that I have a camera on them now. And especially the red-headed white-breast male is singing a lot, but none of the females is really like him because they all fly away if he starts doing that. Do I have any experience with zebra finches? I'm going to build a second aviary only for zebra finches, a little like you have with Gouldians, only smaller. I've had zebra finches, 2 pairs, like around 4 years ago. At that moment I also had the long-tail finches and Gouldians and some society finches, and I removed the zebra finches because they really messed up the breeding season of the others. The long-tail finches were territorial, aggressive towards the rest, but only around their nest. but the zebra finches were taking over the whole aviary. They really want to have control over all over the other nests, and they also go into nests from the Gouldian Finches. And in that case, the Gouldian Finches were really sissies, because they go out of the way for everybody. Also, the long-tail finches really win every encounter with them. But if you put zebra finches alone, I think that can be really fun. The second reason I get rid of the zebra finches is the sound. I lived somewhere else with close neighbors, and they were my loudest birds. So Golden Finches are a little bit quieter. But now I don't have that problem too much. I still have a neighbor which doesn't really love the sound of the birds, but it's less than prefer. I heard that Gouldians prefer a mate with the same head color. I also read that. So that's also why I want to let the females and males choose. I have read already a lot of articles about Golden Finches, head colors, and that kind of stuff. And it seems that indeed they prefer the same head color, and that also the head color has something to do with their personality, and that they choose a personality that fits their own personality. I will try to do a whole video about it if I have the time to read everything again and make a video about it. But that's what I want to check in my own aviary. Do you have any suggestions on how to help a Gouldian pair bond? I have put a pair in their own aviary in the hope that they will breed, but they haven't made any progress, and it's been 2 months now. Well, putting them together alone will definitely help, because then they can choose. There still has to be a click. Maybe there's just no click. Another reason could be that, or they both are not ready for the mating season, or maybe one of them is not ready for the mating season. Golden Finches, definitely here in Europe, are breed into, you have the summer clutches and you have the winter clutches. So you have to really put them into sync, and you can do that like also Wim said. Give them a lot of food variety, egg food, and you really have to get them into the breeding season, and hopefully they are in sync and get in breeding conditions together, and that you get because that's what I see now. Some are starting to molt, and some are really in breeding conditions at the moment, so they are not in sync. Sometimes this will take 1 season, sometimes it will take a couple of seasons to get them in sync, but really indeed giving them soft egg foods, more variety foods, crank up the humidity will help. Well, that's indeed, if you are in Australia, you already have the right climate. That will help. Well, if they get along very well and they sleep together, that's most often a sign that they just are a pair. Only maybe it's not the right time yet, and you have to wait a little bit longer. Do you still have Sierra parakeets? Yes, I have. In the cage here, I still have 2 Sierra parakeets. I don't really show them that often because they're really not very fun to watch, and most of the time if I have the camera ready, they stop doing things, and the videos with the Sierra parakeets don't do very well on the channel, so but they're still here. Last year I tried to breed them. We got one fertile egg, but after a week the females start incubating them. So maybe better luck next year. Thank you, Holly, for the loving the stream. And yeah, just be patient. And then hopefully it will click. Yes, thank you for loving the stream, Steven. That's what I have because so we tried the Sierra parakeets this year, and like I mentioned, also a couple of my birds just don't click. The star finches I'm having the star finches now for 2 years, and the male is dancing, singing, but the female is just not interested in him. So I will try to get a new pair of them or switch over to a new. Sometimes there's no click. You also have that in humans as well. So, did you give egg food while she was incubating? Not much. I just started giving them egg food, more fruits and vegetables. Although the Sierra parakeets get more egg food throughout the year, but the parakeets are in my living room, and I think that also doesn't help because there's not a real planning on lighting. I tried to put over a blanket around the same time every night to get a little bit of a cycle, but it's much more difficult than in the bird room. Next, they are also very young. They are now 3 years old, which is they can have eggs and chicks, but for parakeets they're relatively young, and it's their first nest last year, so hopefully they will maybe they will do it this year. I'm not really focused on breeding them. I try, but yeah, Sierra parakeets is indeed a little bit harder. If we walk up to the cage when they were breeding, they came out very quickly. And nowadays they are really fighting together. But I choose the Sierra parakeets because I really love them and they're a little bit more quiet than all the other parakeets. So it's really more our living room bird and really a breeding bird for me. But hopefully more success next year. Maybe if we move to a new property, we will put them in the bird room as well and have a go. Are they tame? Well, they were a little bit tame, but then they started breeding. They were very feisty against me, also if I put food in there. And since then, I didn't really tame them anymore, so they tolerate me, but they don't really love me. But maybe if we have more room in the bird room at the new property, I will tame them again, because it's much more fun if they are tame. This also is a species which is a little bit harder to tame because they're very frightened of people and other kind of stuff. A budgie is much easier, and also two in a cage, which you let, and if you let them breed, it's just hard to tame a pair of parakeets. In a year, how many times button quill lay eggs? Well, button quills lay an egg every other day. So the females lay an egg, so it depends on how many quills you have. And they start around, yeah, it depends on where you live, but here in Europe, they start around February. I found the first egg yesterday. So they start around now. They don't start immediately with an egg every other day, but around March, April, they really lay an egg every other day until around, I think, September. I now have a lot of quills available, also because I just rescued a new clutch, and all the chicks of last year. I got a lot of chicks of last year, and they start laying eggs. I found the first eggs, and I think they stopped laying eggs, and I think it's indeed September. Also, I was really interested in the mountain parakeets, but after reading, the Sierra parakeets were a little bit quieter. I just choose to the Sierra parakeets. So yeah, in March or April they really start laying, but yeah, I think the quills outside will start around that time, but my quills which are inside in the bird room, which is by the way not heated at the moment, it's yeah, around this time of year. So like I said, I found the first one yesterday. And as you can see in the male, which is singing in front now, he's getting a little bit bald in his neck. This can be because he's going into molt, or he has some vitamin shortage. Because the birds have are in the bird room, are having a small window. It could be that they don't have enough vitamin D. So definitely these golden finches get whole. I started giving them a little bit more vitamin D after I started the first one getting a little bit bald. So hopefully that will fix that. Maybe he's just molding, then nothing is wrong, but we will have to see. If you guys have a treatment against bald golden finches, I really want to hear that, because the one that is sick is getting bolder and bolder. It's already getting a lot of extra vitamins and veggies, but it doesn't seem to get any better at the moment. I switched over to a new brand of vitamins and minerals. Also because last year in the bird room it didn't go very well. So maybe we have more luck this time. My dog is joining me at the live stream. Don't know if you guys can see him. He also wants to be part of the live stream. I have a question for you guys. What species do you breed this year, or are planning to breed this year? Now you can also see my cage, by the way, which is over here. So if we make a little trip, I can. to the reflection. But they're still here. So you only are planning on breeding some zebra finches? And do you prefer the cockatiels and the mountain parakeets above the small tropical birds, or is it the other way around? Or do you just love them both? Some turquoise parakeets, also very lovely birds indeed. I love to see that most of my my viewers at the moment are Dutch. But that's also mostly because it's more it's I think in some countries it's now at night. So and in the Netherlands it's now in the afternoon, midday afternoon-ish. Do you have those parakeets and zebra finches? You want have them separated? Have you ever had parakeets and zebra finches together? I've seen a couple of videos where they put them together, and I think the zebra finches are bold enough to conquer the parakeets, but I'm always very nervous to put them together due to the size difference and especially beak difference. That's really true. That's also why I have 2 parakeets and the rest is all small tropical birds. Yeah, it's the same for me for the parakeets. I had a budgie a couple of years ago, which was really tame. I really miss that. It's so much fun to have a tame bird which is on your shoulder, helping you around when you're busy, etc. Maybe one day these 2 will also be tame if I have a maybe bigger cage in which I can come in. I first let them fly around in the living room, but I also have 2 cats and a dog. And they attack the cats. So that's for the cats it's not that bad. They don't like it, but the only one time the cat didn't like it anymore and lashed out to one of the birds, and I had to operate him because I had a really big gap in his breast. Neophemas are very kind against other smaller finches. So you can, oh, then maybe that's one species you can put together. And I'm trying to tame all my mountain parakeets. Breeding males with eating slow. Yeah, that's also what I want to do if I really can. If I put them maybe in the bird room, in the bird gallery, then I have more time. I can let them fly around again. They used to eat out of my hand. Now they are a little bit skittish. But also the finches ate out of my hand. If you have them in the aviary, you come in there every day, every evening. They get tame very quickly. Yeah, it's a little bit of my experience with new. I see that not the whole text is visible on the thing, but they will be scared of the nest by the zebra finch. Yeah, that's the same thing I had with the zebra finches and all the other finches. So that's why I removed the zebra finches. Yes, consistency is key. That's exactly right. You can see it with the quills. The quills in the aviaries are tame. If I come to the aviary, they walk towards their feeding bowl, and the quills which are in cages, which I can't really get into myself, are much more scared of me and have a more fright and flight response than the others. And this only takes, I think, 2 to 3 weeks, and they get really tame. Especially in the bird gallery upstairs in the aviary, I have now a couple of quills under the Gouldian Finches. And if I'm not careful, they just walk out of the aviary in between my legs. So fortunately the bird gallery is closed off, so they can't go anywhere. And the other quills I have in the cages are so much more scared. If I come in, they just run up under their hiding place. And it's so cool to see that just being with them in 2 to 3 weeks, they can be very tame. The same goes with the dog. A lot of people ask me if my dog is frightening the birds. When she was a puppy, yes, she did. But now the birds are used to her. So they don't even fly up when she's running beside the aviary. It's just they know she's not a threat, and it works pretty well. And it really helps against cats. Before we had the dog, there were a lot of cats jumping on the aviary, jumping on the mesh, really stressing out my birds. But since we have the dog, this is almost completely gone. And my cats don't come outside. So these are indoor cats. So they don't scare off the birds. But if I look at my father-in-law, they also have a cat. And they, if that cat is going, every morning she climbs up at the aviary, and the birds do nothing. And no other cat will be allowed in the vicinity of the aviary. So that helps a lot if you have an own cat or a dog. But they really have to get used to it, of course. Let me see. So the birds are now. So the light in the bird gallery will go on around 8, a little bit before sunset, and the birds, the light will go off in about, I think, 20 minutes, and then the window will provide some lights which will go darker slowly, so they can find a resting place and go to bed. And I will add a couple of hours the next couple of weeks slowly to get to that 12 hours. Hi Mimi, I want to start a mixed aviary. I have Japanese quills and zebra finches. Can I add Jaffa sparrows or doves, pigeons? I just read above the are not okay. Why? Neophemas are okay, just like Wim said. Only they get disturbed by the finches, so it's the other way around. Doves and pigeons, I don't have much experience with doves and pigeons together with finches, but they are a lot bigger. And I've read somewhere, but I don't know exactly, that they have a lot more dust, which is not good for the health of the finches. But I'm not sure how that works. For the Java sparrows, they're completely fine. They're a little bit bigger than the zebra finches, and also relatively bold finches, so they can stand up against the zebra finches. So that would work fine. You always see, especially here in Europe, a lot of Java finches in aviaries with a lot more bigger birds, because they are relatively bold birds which can stand their place. True, Steven. Diamond doves can go really well with finches. Yeah. That's a really small dove species. That's, I think, the only dove I've ever seen kept with finches. Mimi, are you planning to make a new aviary or just put other birds with your zebra finches and your Japanese quills? You can really hear the red-headed male singing a lot. He's really singing from the first one in the morning to a new to late in the evening. Are you building a new aviary? And do you already have some plans, or and the size of the aviary? I'm always curious if someone is telling me he's building a new aviary. I really want to know how and why, when and why, just to get some inspirations. I really love building aviaries, seeing other aviaries come up with new ideas, so that's why I asked all these questions. Another question I have for you guys, maybe you guys know, I tried to look it up but couldn't really find it. Some people say if golden finches or finches in general start singing like this, it really is time for them to start breeding. They come into breeding conditions. But if I look at this male, since I have it a couple of months ago, it started singing and it never stopped singing. And also my starfinch male is really singing throughout winter, which I don't think they are in their breeding conditions whole year around. But maybe one of you guys know. Put it in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this later. I'm very curious to see if you guys also have some finches which are singing all year around. True. My dad has some canaries and they do sing indeed in winter and summer. That's true. Which the neighbors of my dad finds really annoying. How's your breeding season going? Well, chirps of praise. I'm not started yet. I have had some nest boxes with the Gouldian Finches, but due to a mite and lice outbreak I had to remove them. And for the rest, they're still in winter season. At the moment outside it's like 0 degrees Celsius. Sometimes it's a little bit warmer. And in the bird aviary I don't even have a heater. It will stay around 10 degrees Celsius, which is fine. And that's at night. During the day when the sun is shining into the window it will get up to 15. But next couple of weeks I will condition them slowly into breeding conditions. And we'll see it from there how it will go. I'm planning to move around April, hopefully, if everything goes well. So that will mess up the breeding season quite rigorously. It's going to be 12 square centimeters. There will be an inside building. There are plants, willow, berries, on soil. I will have new plants. That sounds really great. Be aware if you have hooked bills, like neophemas maybe. They can really destroy plants, so you have to pick the right sturdy plants. I recently did some new interior, some new plants for another aviary of my father-in-law, and we really put sturdy plants in there, and the next day they are really munching on them, pulling out strings of grass, etc. One big tip I can give you, but it's maybe already a little bit late, but maybe next year, try to buy or get a Christmas tree which is in a pot, and after it's Christmas and you remove the decoration and put it inside your aviary. Christmas trees are most likely to how do you say it, stay a little longer in the aviary if they have to munch on all the needles. They will probably not survive as well, but a little bit longer than the not so sturdy plants. So if you have pictures, if it's done, please share on Instagram. Tag me on it. I'm very curious to see the aviary, and I see that my camera is out. I will try to get it back. And it's back again. Yes, that's a good one, chirps of praise. Always be aware that if you put plants in your aviary, make sure they are safe for your species. There's a lot of lists on the internet to check if they're safe. And especially some plants look safe, but are not really safe. And if you doubt this, don't do it. So in about, I think 10 minutes, the light will go off. And you can see... Yes, also as vitamins and minerals during the breeding season. I really like to use natural resources, fruits and vegetables. But especially if you have birds inside, sometimes you just have to put some extra vitamins in there. Especially the Gouldian Finches, which we see here. Don't get a lot of sunlight, only through a small window, and they really need some extra vitamin D, and I can give them a lot of fruit and vegetables, but it's always the question if they get enough vitamin D inside. Also because I've seen with Golden Finches that are really picky eaters, so if they don't know it, they don't eat it. So it's really hard to get them to eat new fruits and vegetables. So that's why I always use a little bit of supplements, but most of their supplements and minerals will come from fruits, vegetable and other sources we give them. Then I don't know where I was talking about, but I also use apple cider vinegar. That's also my first treatment of new birds. And also my first treatment if birds are not feeling that well. I also use the organic apple cider vinegar, which is good for the birds, their intestines, etc. And already get a lot of parasites out of their system, instead of putting all kinds of parasite killers on them. I also give them just precautions, I think, or every month I give them 3 days of apple cider vinegar, and also in the bed water. Yes, that's what I said. I always, during the breeding season, during the winter season, I gave them some fruits and vegetables every week. I think 3 to 4 times a month. not really every week. And I will build that up during the breeding season. And mostly I give them broccoli or cauliflower. And for fruits, just what I have, seasonal fruits. It's a lot cheaper. And it's also good for the birds. And so the next couple of weeks they get more and more. But what I see is that, especially when now I have the camera on there, the fruits and vegetables get eaten, but not that much by the Gouldian Finches. And there are two or three Gouldian Finches which really love the fruits and vegetables, and the other just stay away from it. And also the other finches, like the parrot finches, really love it. They eat it clean every time. And most of the other finches just pick a couple of fruits from it and then leave it around. Yes, thank you, Steven. And see you next time. So fruits and vegetables are really important. And what I see is that the drier fruits and vegetables are more preferred by my finches. I don't know what it is, but the wetness of the food just scares the birds away or something. Especially the Golden Finches are not very... they don't really prefer... they do prefer the raw broccoli and cauliflower, but the wetter vegetables they leave behind. And it's important to every day, after the day after you give them fruits and vegetables, you have to get it out again. Otherwise you get molds and diseases, etc. So that's why I also put some extra vitamins in their water, just to be sure they have extra vitamins inside them. So I think we will keep the stream going until the lights will go off. That will happen in I think 10 minutes or something. So if you still have any questions, put them in the chat. So for the rest of this series, I will put the live stream on without me, just the birds every now and then. So you can watch the birds, study with the birds, just like the noise, listen to their noises. I really relax when I put this on when I'm working or studying or something. And then I will do this Q&A, let's talk about bird sessions. I think every other week or something. If it really goes up in views, then maybe some more. But please let me know in the comments if you would like me to do this more often, so I know. And if you have questions, you can always ask them. For the ones who are watching this not live but afterwards, just put some comments below. I will answer them. Maybe I will answer them in the next live stream. Also, please comment below at what time you prefer. I'm in Europe, which is of course different time than in America or Australia. Just let me know which time you prefer. Also put where you're from, in which time zone you are, so I can calculate it back to my time zone. I can switch it up a little bit. I can do live streams in the morning here, in the evening, maybe later at night. The live stream of the birds will then be very quiet, because the birds are asleep and it's dark in there. I have night vision on the camera, but not much is happening when the birds are sleeping. Just let me know, and we will see how this will continue. I really like talking to you, asking you some questions, answering some of your questions. If you have any topics you want me to talk about in a live stream or maybe make a video about it, also let me know. And we will see next time. Hopefully this... Oh, there we see that the lights just turned off, and you can see that there's still light incoming from the window. So now the birds will go to sleep very quietly when the sun's going down, very naturally. Yeah, let me know. Then I think if there are no more questions, I will end this stream. Hopefully more Mr. Aviary will get a lot of more subscribers. So more people know about the live stream. Again, like I mentioned at the start of this live stream, I made this channel because it was messing up my analytics of my main channel. So I want to focus my main channel really on informative videos, showing off the birds in videos, short clips. And this channel is more the additional stuff, live streams, Q&As, shorts, etc. So subscribe to this channel if you want to get notified when I go live again. And hopefully I see you guys in the next live stream. And I will leave the live stream going. I will stop it very shortly and go back to the only birds videos. So you can see the last half an hour of them eating something and going to bed. And then somewhere this week I will put the live stream on again. Thank you again, and see you next time. And remember, stay happy and always love your birds. Bye bye.